Continuing, it's the subtitle, The Return to Nazareth. But when um, so but when Herod was dead, behold, an angel of the Lord appeared in a dream to Joseph in Egypt. Verse 20, saying, Arise and take the young child and his mother, and go into the land of Israel, for they are dead which sought the young child's life. Verse 21, and he arose and took the young child and his mother, and came into the land of Israel. Verse 22, but when he heard that Archelaus did reign in Judea and in the room of his father Herod, he was afraid to go thither. Notwithstanding being warned of Yahweh in a dream, he turned aside into the parts of Galilee. And he came and dwelt in a city called Nazareth, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by the prophets, he shall be called a Nazarene. The fourth and final prophecy that Matthew mentions in chapter 2 pertains to the journey of Yahushua's family from Egypt to Nazareth. When Herod was dead, the greatest immediate danger to Yahushua was over. In his Antiquities, Josephus reports that Herod died of this: ulcerated entrails, putrefied and maggot-filled organs, constant convulsions, foul breath, and neither physicians nor warm baths led to recovery. A rather fitting end, it seems, for such a man. Not nearly so fitting was the elaborate and costly funeral that his eldest son and successor, Archelaus, prepared in his honor, especially in light of the fact that just 5 days before he died, Herod, by permission from Rome, had executed another son, Antipater, because of his plots against his father. The angel of the Lord had told Joseph to stay in Egypt until I tell you. Chapter 2, verse 13. Now the angel reappeared to Joseph as promised, telling him to arise and take the child and his mother and go into the land of Israel, for those who sought the child's life are dead. The fact that the angel spoke with those who sought the child's life indicates that Herod was not alone in his plan to destroy his supposed rival. But like Herod, the other conspirators seeking the death of the child were themselves now dead. Now was not instructed. Salakia. I don't even know how I just did that. Must be getting tired. I pray that the Kadash give me the strength to continue to push, finish this chapter. Joseph was not instructed to return to any particular city or region, but simply to take the child and his mother back into the land of Israel. When he arrived in southern Israel, however, and heard that Archelaus was reigning over Judea in place of his father Herod, he was afraid to go there. The ones who had previously sought to kill the infant Yahushua were dead. But Archelaus posed another more general threat. In one of his numerous acts of brutality, shortly before he died, Herod had executed two popular Jewish rabbis, Judas and Matthias. And that's talking about the book of Maccabees, who had stirred up their disciples and other faithful Jews in Jerusalem to tear down the offensive Roman eagle that the king had arrogantly erected over the temple gate. Wow, I never knew it was the eagle he put over there, proving that America is Rome all over. The following, because what is the symbol for America? An eagle. Just like Rome had an eagle, and just like Greece had an eagle. Them Edomites and they fucking eagles. Huh? The following Passover, an insurrection broke out, and Archelaus, reflecting his father's senseless cruelty, executed 3,000 Jews, many of whom were Passover pilgrims who had no part in the revolt. Like I said, you can read all that in the book of Maccabees. I would get it, but I'm trying to finish the lesson because I do have something to actually take care of. Anyhow, any Jew, therefore, who lived in the territory of Archelaus was in danger. Consequently, Joseph was again warned by Yahweh in a dream, and he departed from the regions of Galilee. That they came and resided in a city called Nazareth was not only because Joseph and Mary were originally from there. Luke 2, 4, and 5. Let me get that real quick. And Joseph also went up from Galilee out of the city of Nazareth into Judea, unto the city of David, which is called Bethlehem, because he was of the house and lineage of David. By divine providence, but that what was spoken through the prophets might be fulfilled. Matthew focuses on two features through all of this narrative. One, divine revelation as indicated by angelic instruction for every move, and two, the fulfillment of a divine plan revealed in the Old Testament. The specific statement that the Messiah will be called a Nazarene does not appear in the Old Testament. Some interpreters have tried to connect Nazarene with the Hebrew Nesser branch spoken of in Isaiah 11:1, but that idea is without etymological or other support as the idea of trying to tie the prophecy to the shoot of Isaiah 53:2. Because Matthew speaks of the prophets, plural, it seems that several prophets have made this prediction, though it is not specifically recorded in the Old Testament. Other sayings and events unrecorded in the Old Testament are nevertheless quoted or referred to in the New. Jude tells us that Enoch in the seventh generation from Adam prophesied, saying, "Behold, the Lord came with many thousands of his holy ones to execute judgment upon all, and to convict all the ungodly of all their ungodly deeds, which they had done in an ungodly way." Jude 14:15. Yet no such prophecy is mentioned in Genesis or in any other part of the Old Testament. In a similar way, we know of Yahushua's teaching that it is more blessed to give than to receive, only because of Paul's later reference to Acts 20:35. The saying is not mentioned by any of the gospel writers, including Luke, who reported the accounts in Acts. John tells us that he did not even attempt to record everything that Yahushua said and did during his earthly ministry. And that's true. And John walked with him. You know what I'm saying? He was one of the disciples. That's why when you read, when it says the disciple that he loved the most, or he loved the Salaki, I might be saying it wrong. I know I'm not saying it verbatim, but he says, I believe it says the disciple that he loved. He was talking about himself, John. But I'm going to get that, John 21. John 21:25. And there are also many other things which Yahushua did, that which if they should be written, everyone, I suppose that even the world itself could not contain the books that should be written. So Matthew does not tell us that, Matthew does not tell us which prophets predicted that the Messiah would be called a Nazarene, but only that more than one of them did so. The prophecy is said to be fulfilled when Yahushua was taken to live in Nazareth, where Joseph and Mary had formerly lived. Matthew's original readers were largely Israelites, and it was probably common knowledge among them who the specific prophets were that had made the prediction. For later readers, the Holy Spirit, or Ha-Rakah Kodash, obviously felt it was enough that we simply know that the prediction was made and that it was fulfilled, as Matthew explains. Nazareth was about 55 miles north of Jerusalem in the regions of Galilee, where the Lord had directed Joseph to go. The town was in an elevated basin about 1.5 miles across and was inhabited largely by people noted for their crude and violent ways. That's why the term Nazarene had long been a term of derision used to describe any person who was rough and rude. And look at who he's taken to be the prophets of today. You know what I mean? You know, and you know, we pray that we're of the hopeful elect, because like I said, look what type of dudes and where he's bringing them from. You know what I mean? And we always pray that we're of the hopeful elect. We hope that we're of that elect, the ones that are going to be saved. But the term Nazarene had long been a term of derision used to describe any person who was rough and rude. That is why Nathanael, who was from Cana, a few miles to the south, asked Philip, "Can any good thing come out of Nazareth?" Which I'm about to get. John 1:46. And Nathanael said unto him, "Can there any good thing come out of Nazareth?" Philip saith unto him, "Come and see." The question is especially good. Salaki. The question is especially significant coming from Nathanael, who by Yahweh's own word was an Israelite indeed, in whom is no guile. Verse 27. Yahweh saw Nathanael coming to him and said of him, behold, an Israelite indeed, in whom is no guile. Nathanael was not given to maligning his neighbors, but he was shocked that the one of whom Moses in the law and also the prophets wrote 45 actually could come from such a disreputable place as Nazareth. Philip findeth Nathanael and saith unto him, we have found him of whom Moses in the law and the prophets did write, Yahushua of Nazareth and son of Joseph. The early Israelite persecutors, I'm going to read it verbatim. The early Jewish persecutors of the church apparently considered Yahushua being from Nazareth as evidence that he could not be the Messiah, rather than, as Matthew tells us, a sign that he was. Tertullius acting as attorney for the high priest Ananias and other Jewish leaders spoke. I should put a curse on the motherfuckers, man. Derisively, I am. Salak Rayam to these two fucking demons in the name of the Most High God and the Son, Yahweh by Yashem, Yahweh Shai by Hashem, Rakah, Kadash, Barakatham, Amen. Trying to peddle witchcraft and sorceries, so seeing evil to these motherfuckers, for real. 2/3 ass Jake, that just pissed me off, for real. Derisively of Paul before Salakia Akim, of Paul before the Roman governor Felix as a real pest and a fellow who stirs up decision among all the Jews throughout the world, and a ringleader of the sect of Nazarenes. So it's quoting Acts 24 and 5. For we have found this man a pestilent fellow and a mover of sedition among all the Jews throughout the world, and a ringleader of the sect of Nazarenes. The church father Jerome wrote that in synagogue prayers, Christians were often cursed as Nazarenes, with the petition that they would be blotted out of the book of life. It's quoting Psalm 69. And 28. Let them be blotted out of the book of living and not be written with the righteous. Yahushua living in Nazareth not only fulfilled the unnamed prophet's prediction, but gave him a name, Yahushua the Nazarene, that will be used as a title of reproach, thus fulfilling many other prophecies that depict the Messiah as despised and forsaken of men, which you can read in Isaiah 53 and 3, Isaiah 49 and 7, Psalms 22, 6 through 8, Psalms 69, 20 and 21. The gospel writers make clear the fact that he was scorned and hated. Matthews 12 and 24, 27, chapter 27, 21 through 23, and then verse 63. Luke 23 and 4, book of John 5 and 18, chapter 6 and 66, chapter 9 and 22, and verse 29. It was therefore at lowly and despised Nazareth that the royal son of Yahweh, along with the righteous Joseph and Mary, made his home for some 30 years. And with that finished that chapter in the book. So I'm going to end it there, and Lord willing, Adawan Ratazah, that we're able to start next week on chapter 5. So I'm going to stop right there. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba Hashem, Rakah, Kadash, Barakatham. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the Akim around the four corners of the earth, pushing the truth with faith and sincerity. Shalom, shalom. Shalom to the confusion of face, Akim, that we're hoping to join our ranks. And with that, Like I say, I hope this lesson was edifying. Until next week, shalom, shalom, and a ball, ball.